Hi guys, welcome back. So finally I'm going to start a Lyme video about where things kind of originated from. Probably even back further from that. But I just want to go over some dates. So, I want to talk about October 2013. We went to a roller skating ring in Sandusky, Ohio. And we were having a good time. We're skating around. It's been a while since I've skated, but I used to roller skate, so I was used to it. But I was skating around. Then I obviously stopped. There was a boy on a scooter that cut like right in front of me. And I stopped for him, so I didn't run him over or anything like that. He was so young and everything. He didn't know what he was doing. Just kind of got in the way. And so I stopped, and then I went to go start up again, and it's kind of like in the middle, kind of inward of the floor, so it was like maybe more oily or slippery. But I started up, and I didn't even know I was falling. It was like the weirdest thing. But I fell straight down, didn't grab anything, just straight down my butt. I hurt my tailbone. I got back up. Greg and Maddie kind of saw what happened, and they asked if I was okay, and I'm like, yeah, I fell, like any time you fall, you get back up. Didn't think anything of it. The skating around was just kind of like, oh man, I'm going to be bruised later. This kind of sucks, but it wasn't until like I was skating around and I was like, you know what, I gotta go to the bathroom. Yeah, that was a disaster. Yeah, bending down, like squatting, when you sit on the toilet, was terrible. I knew something was wrong. So, I managed to get my roller skates off. I ended up standing there. Obviously, I didn't like sitting, so I ended up standing, and they both knew I was like in pain, and I wasn't in pain when I was standing, but I knew there was something wrong when I squatted down or I went to sit. It was bad. So that happened, and then leaving there, when we went to leave, because I let them, skate for a while and stuff like that, I just stood. I didn't sit down. It was too uncomfortable to sit. I could not bend down to get into the car, and I'm like, oh my gosh. So, luckily, like I said, Maddie didn't have a friend that day, so it worked out good. I had to actually dive in the back seat of the car to just be comfortable, be like in a stand-up position, dive laying down in the car, just in pain, just crying. It was scary, didn't know what to do. He was trying to get me to go to the hospital and all that, and, I didn't want to go. I was going to wait. Obviously maybe I just was being paranoid, a lot more pain, just, what were they going to do, is what I'm thinking. Didn't want to spend the money. So we went home. Obviously, it sucked to go to the bathroom. That was like the worst. And pretty much laid around, and I did manage to sit. Had to be really soft. Our couch, just really soft, blankets and all that. So that happened, and why I explain that story, why do I explain that story, you probably are asking, why did I tell you all that, was because everything that happened after October 13th, or October 2013, I thought my problems were coming from that fall. So that's why I wanted to throw that in there. So, come December 30th of 2013, I had a lot of vision headaches, vision problems. I started having vision problems, like weird lines in my side vision. It was my left eye. I was at work. I was at work, and I believe this is a time, I mean, I have to look it up more. I just have dates on here. But I believe this is the time where um, one of the vendors where I worked ended up driving me to the hospital, which was luckily just right down the road where I work, where I managed a store. And I didn't know what was going on. I had, obviously, those wavy lines in my vision. Just felt really spaced. Like when I went into the bathroom, I looked in the mirror. It was like I'm not like like I was looking at myself, but I didn't feel like I was looking at myself. It was, I don't know what they call that photo, whatever, phobia or whatever it's called. Anyway, it was so weird. And then, like I said, a girl there thought maybe, since I drank coffee and maybe hadn't had a lot of water, maybe that I was, one, dehydrated, or two, I had a blood sugar problem. They thought maybe I had a blood sugar problem. So she thought maybe my blood sugar was low, so she grabbed a candy bar, and I asked her for water, so she grabbed like 1 liter of water out of the cooler, and then I ended up paying for it. Obviously, once I felt better, I went up there and paid for it, but she grabbed that, told me to do that, see if I felt better. I just didn't feel good. I felt I had to go back in the back and sit down. I was like so weak. It was bad. Never had it in my, never had this feeling in my life. And I was like, you know what, do this. So before I went to the hospital, like I said, but then I stood back up, felt like I was going to collapse to the floor, I felt like I was going to, basically collapse, blackout, faint. So it was scary, like the symptoms I was getting was so scary that I ended up calling 911 myself while I was back there, and she was out there waiting on customers. I called 911 and almost had come get me. Then it kind of went away, and then I oh no, you don't have to come get me, I'm fine. And then they're like, are you sure? And all that good stuff. I'm like, oh, I'm good now. And then as soon as I hang up, of course, symptoms started. Luckily, the vendor that was there that I was checking in when all that happened, he noticed something was happening, and he asked, and I told him. And he took me to the hospital. By that time, just the way, my vision was bad. When I walked out the door, I had to close I had to, basically, yeah, he drove my car. No, he drove me. Yeah, he drove me. I had him drive my car. I don't know, but I think I had him drive my car or something like that, and took me to the thing. He drove my car back. Or I got in his... I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't remember any of that. And, I mean, obviously I know what happened because of those feelings and stuff, but I don't remember, how I got to the hospital. I knew he took me, but I don't know, I must have gotten his truck or something, because the lights... So, not the lights. So, inside the store, everything happening, I didn't notice, but when I went outside, it was so bright outside. Once I opened the door, it was so bright out the back door that, I mean, it was, bright. It was scary. It's like when your eyes are dilated brightness and you have to wear sunglasses. That, but, felt 10 times worse than that. It was so bright. I couldn't see. It was, so bright. So I basically had to close my eyes and just basically had him guide me out and take me to the hospital. And going to the hospital, of course, I'm in a different town. I told him, they weren't concerned like I was. I was concerned, and I was thinking, oh my gosh, am I having a heart attack? What's going on? Something, failing. And, they weren't concerned. They basically took me back, and they're like, oh, you're not having a heart attack, and they checked everything, and just more or less, every time I go in the hospital, they always think I'm pregnant. I mean, sure, they want to be precautious, so do all that, but everything checked out good. There was nothing physically wrong with me. So, obviously, I was so weak and all that happening, I called him and let him know, and I was crying and stuff, and he came. Luckily, he my fiance was able to come and pick me up and stuff like that. But there was like no way I was driving. I didn't feel comfortable driving. It was scary. And then it was just like everything happened after that. I just was never the same. I couldn't drink coffee anymore. I still can't drink coffee to this day. And yeah, it's crazy. So no caffeine, like I'm caffeine intolerant, and I know that because a couple years later after 2015 or so, 2016. Yeah. 2016, I went to, well, before I jumped to 2016, I just want to say I went to the doctor again February 17th, 2014, then September 26th, 2014, September 30th, 2014, August 27th, 2015, and during those times, like I complained of the same stuff, like weakness, left-sided weakness, headaches, all that kind of stuff. But I don't know, I tolerate pain quite a bit that I guess it's to the point that I don't want to complain. I hate complaining about things, but I knew something wasn't right. And all my doctor could tell me, oh, it's anxiety, it runs in your family, depression, anxiety, stress, all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, no. I know my body, this is not right, and, they just kept pushing that. I kept saying that, they did tests of, different things and couldn't find anything wrong. They did end up having me go to a cardiologist in that time frame. I think it was 2015. And I had the tilt table test done. Well, the tilt table test ended up being positive. I didn't last like I remember the tilt table test because I did not feel good when I did the test. So I remember standing there and they strap you in and you're sitting up straight and just strapped in, basically like on your feet, but not on your feet. You're strapped in upwards on this table, and they weigh and they monitor your blood pressure and everything. And once it drops, it means you're positive because your blood pressure is not supposed to drop when you obviously are standing. It's supposed to keep it from not dropping, your body, your nerves, and the system, So I had that happen. It took a while. It wasn't like automatic or anything like that. I don't know how many minutes, but I remember feeling very, I wanted to sit down. It got to the point, and the lady's like, stop fighting it, because I think it was one of those things, I was trying not, I knew I couldn't stand long, and I was trying so hard not to get that way, because obviously I couldn't sit down because I'm strapped to the table. And it got to the point I started feeling more nauseous, and of course she asked, how are you feeling now? And I'm like, well, I feel nauseous. And then at one point in time I told her, I need that bucket, I'm going to throw up. And then as soon as I say I need that bucket, I need to throw up, she put me down real quick because my blood pressure dropped instantly. And it's a terrible feeling when your blood pressure drops. Anybody that has blood pressure problems, I mean, whether it's high, whether it's low, it's terrible. You definitely know when it drops. I've never passed out completely. Came so close to it. Came close to Greg calling the squad for me and all that good stuff. Scary. Learning that I need to put my feet up and have my head all the way to the ground. So, on the couch, I'll have to have my feet propped up on something. And that's anywhere. I've had to do that at work. I've had to do that anytime. There was a time we were in a restaurant, and it was back when we were coming back from one of our